Welcome to the 186th District Court. Court is in session. This is cause number 2019 CR 9837, State of Texas versus Celso Hernandez. We're here today for a plea. We're conducting this hearing via video conference using the Zoom application. We're also using YouTube to live stream the proceedings to keep the hearing public. The time now is 10:23 a.m. on the 23rd of June, 2021. These proceedings are official. They're on the record and they're being recorded by the official court reporter. Counsel and all present are instructed to act as though you were in court, and all are instructed not to record the proceedings. And if I could have the attorneys make appearances, starting with the state of Texas, please.
Lindsay Shaw for the state.
Eric Hernandez for the defendant. Celso Hernandez.
Is it Kelso or Celso?
Celso.
I couldn't hear that.
Celso.
All right. I'm sorry I mispronounced your name earlier, Mr. Hernandez. Kelso Hernandez. All right. Sir, are you the same Kelso Hernandez charged by indictment with possession of a controlled substance? Penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. Is that you, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to use a function of Zoom called the share screen function, and I'm going to show you the indictment in this case and ask you, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
And counsel, do we waive reading of the indictment?
We so waive, Your Honor.
I'm going to get out of share screen. I'll note that there is a discovery acknowledgement that's been signed and dated by both sides. I'm doing the same, and I make it a part of the record. And then Mr. Kelso Hernandez going back to share screen again. This time I'm going to show you a document. It's called the defendant's consent to plea by video conference. Scroll through. There's a electronic signature where I'm using my cursor to circle around. Is this your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
By signing this document, you're telling me two things. One is that you understand normally we do pleas live and in an open court, but that you're consenting to do this plea by video conference. Did you understand that when you signed this?
Yes, sir.
Secondly, your electronic signature here, as well as all of your other electronic signatures in the plea packet in front of me, you're telling me that those are valid as if you personally signed them. Did you understand that before you signed this document?
Yes, sir.
I approve the consent and I make it a part of the record. Next, sir, I'm going to use share screen again. Let's see if I can make it work. Hold on. All right, someone's got their mic on. If you could turn it off if you're not part of the proceedings. All right, using share screen again, sir, I'm showing you another document. It's called the court's admonishment. It's several pages, so I'll scroll through for you, but ask you, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
On the bottom of page 4 is electronic signature. Is this yours?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get out of share screen. By signing the court's admonishment, sir, you're telling me that you understand the court's admonishments, that you understand the rights are contained within it. Is that true?
Yes.
And that you want to give up those rights. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
The rights that you're giving up is you have the right to a trial by jury. You have a right to confront the witnesses against you. You also have the right to remain silent, which includes the right not to incriminate yourself and not plead today. Did you understand that before you signed this?
Yes, sir.
By signing this, you're also telling me you understand the consequences of a plea and the sentencing range for the offense, which is anywhere from 180 days to 2 years in the state jail and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand that before you signed this?
Yes, sir.
I'll note, and I forgot to note earlier, that there's an application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. I'll make that a part of the record. Sir, you've applied for deferred adjudication, and there are risks and benefits associated with that. The benefits are, as if it's granted, then you will not be found guilty of the offense, and instead you'll be placed on community supervision, which if you're successful with that, the case is dismissed. But the risks are, if you're not successful, you could be revoked. And if you are revoked, then I would find you guilty of the offense on that day, and you're subject to the full sentencing range I just announced. Did you understand that before you applied for deferred adjudication?
Yes, sir.
And do you still wish to apply?
Yes, sir.
I approve the waivers that are contained within the court's admonishments and make them a part of the record. So I'm going to go back to share screen and show you the plea bargain in this case. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Electronic signature to the left, I'm using my cursor to circle around. There's another one to the right. I'm using my cursor to circle around. Are these your two signatures?
Yes, sir.
This document details for me your agreement with the state as far as punishment is concerned, and I will let you know if I'm going to follow this prior to the entry of your plea. It'll be a $1,500 fine. The state is recommending deferred adjudication. You'll pay for the costs and testing the substance at the laboratory as restitution. One of your signatures, the one to the left, waives your appeal outside of the agreement, but the recommendations are you be placed on deferred adjudication for 2 years, have a drug and alcohol treatment evaluation, community service hours as well. Is that your understanding of your agreement, sir?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, is that your understanding as well?
It is, Your Honor.
I'm going to get out of share screen. Sir, I'm not bound by a plea bargain. Mr. Hernandez, did you have something to say?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the state was recommending a probate of the fine and community service, or we can take that up at the end if necessary.
Okay, all right. Mr. Kelso Hernandez, I'm not bound by a plea bargain. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
But so I don't have to follow the plea bargain. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
But if I do follow the plea bargain, then you lose your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
That's true unless I grant you permission to appeal or unless certain motions are filed and ruled upon. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, any such rulings in this case?
No, Your Honor.
If I do not follow the plea bargain, and I'll allow you to withdraw the plea and will proceed to trial as if this hearing never occurred. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I'll note again, one of your signatures on the plea bargain waives your appeal. Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
If not, then a plea of guilty or no contest to this offense would have serious adverse effects on your immigration status. And I'll note that you certified on the court's admonishments that you are an American citizen. Counsel, do you believe that your client has a factual, rational understanding of the charge pending against him?
I do believe so, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's been able to assist you in the defense?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's mentally competent to waive rights and enter a plea here today?
In my opinion, yes.
Sir, the offense that's listed on your indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Do you understand that you can still be found guilty under a no contest plea?
Yes, sir.
Other than the plea bargain, did anyone promise you anything in exchange for your plea today?
No, sir.
Anyone force you or coerce you to plead today?
No, sir.
After going over this case with your attorney, do you believe that pleading here today is in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
Does the state have anything to offer to support the plea?
State offer States Exhibit 1 and attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
It's admitted. I reviewed States Exhibit 1 and attachments prior to getting on the record and find that it is sufficient to support the plea. Sir, I find that your plea was freely, intelligently, and voluntarily made. That there was sufficient evidence to support the plea and that you're mentally competent to enter into such a plea. Mr. Counsel Hernandez, any objections to waiving the pre-sentence investigation report?
No, Your Honor. We would waive the PSI and proceed with sentencing today.
Any legal reason as to why your client cannot be sentenced today?
No, Your Honor, none.
There being no legal reason, in accordance with agreement with the state, sir, I'm going to defer any finding of guilt at this time and place you on community supervision for a period of 2 years. I'm going to order a $1,500 fine. I'll come back to that, Mr. Eric Hernandez. There'll be restitution to the San Antonio Police Department for their costs and testing the substance. I'll set that at $57, and I'll come back to that as well. And then there'll be a TAP evaluation. You must follow the recommendations. I'll give you 150 community service hours, and then I'll give you 30 days to verify employment. All right, Mr. Eric Hernandez, did you want to address the fine and the restitution?
Yes, Your Honor. The fine and the community service. Mr. Hernandez has, due to recent health concerns, has had some toes amputated. You can see there on the video, he is on crutches. We would ask the court to probate some or all of the fine and community service as he is in the process, if he has not already received an application for disability, because it has impacted his ability to work or maintain employment.
All right, as to the fine, I'll probate $1,400 of that. I'll still have them pay the restitution to the San Antonio Police Department for their costs testing the substance. And then I'll probate all 150 community service hours as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Kelso Hernandez, this is a plea bargain case, I followed the plea bargain, so you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You do not have the right to appeal. I'm also noting you waived your appeal on the plea bargain agreement. I'm making a certification of this for the record. I'll provide a copy of the certification to your attorney to provide to you. Mr. Kelso Hernandez, we're about ready to conclude this hearing, but when we do, you're in our courtroom. The rest of us are all on video, but our court liaison officer for the probation department is there in the courtroom as well. Everyone's socially distanced or wearing masks, and we've got plexiglass up and things of that nature, but you cannot leave until you talk to our court liaison officers, Ms. Serrano, and you're not allowed to leave until you talk to her first about your new conditions of community supervision. Is there anything else from either side in regards to the plea or to the sentencing?
No, sir.
Not from the state, Your Honor.
The matter's now concluded. We're in recess.